Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I'm your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I am very excited about this one because I've been in a bunch of training sessions and just involved in learning and teaching. And this topic is just, you guys are going to love it. Okay.
You look like you've been at the beach. You look like you got some sun. You got a nice tan.
It was almost 80 in Iowa today. So not that I got to
you out in the
take in
sun?
that. I had to watch it from my office window, but yesterday, yes, I planted my garden and I got my hands in the dirt, which is my favorite thing in the wide world. So.
So that tan is actually just dirt smudges everywhere.
I'm actually just dirty.
She hasn't showered yet.
You think I look like I have a glow, but it's just
I'll take it.
Dirt.
It's
fine.
just dirt. It's just
She
dirt.
lives in Iowa. Give her a break. Jeez.
I mean, whatever, you know. How are you guys, though? You both look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. This is a good way to start off the day.
I know.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I have to tell you the absolute dumbest story. Can I take
please.
Like 3 minutes and tell you the dumbest story of something that happened to me? I mean, only me that this would happen to. So last week, I go to a company lunch. So it's a nonprofit that we support, and I'm driving from Mankato, our town, up to Minneapolis. And the fastest way to get there from our office is kind of go through small towns, right? And then get over to the major interstate, head up to Minneapolis. And so I am in my company car going through all these little small towns, and I come up to a stop sign or an intersection, and there's a car pulled over, and up ahead, like maybe 2-3 blocks, is an ambulance with its lights on, and then a fire truck, and then a school bus. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, like what is happening? And then there's another fire truck and another fire truck. And I pull up to the intersection. I'm thinking I'm in a funeral procession. So I'm just ready. Like, that's a bummer. I'm like short on time, but we're just going to sit here and wait. Well, the trucks go by, there's a car, and I look at the car and there's no funeral flag on the car. You know how they have those, so you just know where the funeral procession is. And she waves me forward, and I'm like very confused, but I just go because she has the stop sign and I have the thorough. So I'm driving behind these fire trucks with their lights on. All of a sudden, and we're going like 30 miles an hour, and we start going, and there are a couple of cars parked on the side of the road, and they are waving, and I am still so confused. I have no idea what is happening. And it's not until we come up, we're driving for probably 2 miles, that I realize that we come to T in the road. Everybody's pulling off. I get this, the bus turns onto the major road. The bus is painted in school colors. It's high school basketball season in Minnesota, and this small town made it to the state basketball tournament. I was in a freaking parade, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm sitting there, like, oh my gosh. I'm in my company car, no doubt, and I've just passed like 30 people in the back of this parade. Like, just.
And you put yourself in the parade.
I am just get in there.
That's hilarious. Were people waving at you?
They were waving at me. I could not figure out why they were waving. I'm like,
well, they do that in small towns anyway. They just wave.
I was just so confused because the light are so, like, I thought people were trying to pay their respects to the person that got in the bus. No, what's happening? Oh
That's
my
good.
gosh, I had no idea. Like, and then after I turned, I thought, am I going to get in trouble because I just hijacked the parade? They're going to think I was trying to jump the line.
Right.
On my way. Oh my gosh. That was
That's funny. That was your highlight of your week.
Jim, you're muted.
Why are you muted?
You're muted.
I wasn't accident. Oh my gosh. I was like,
No, she didn't want us to hear her snort.
probably. I was just thinking, like, that's the best Tuesday ever. Like, you're just randomly in a parade because I've done that as well, and it's great.
It's just and like who has
not
like why
great.
would I think it's a parade? It's literally the middle of the week.
Yes, no, the same. So Coraline and I, Jessica, full disclosure, we talked about this earlier, but I was like, she was telling me the story, and I was like, were you?
Were you in the parade?
The lead up sounded way too familiar for Jamie from Iowa.
Yes, yes. I was like, I was waved in, and I was like, oh, why am I going 20 in my wrapped, logoed vehicle or whatever? Yeah.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love it so much. How about you, Jessica? Anything exciting happened this last week?
Were you also in a parade?
Were you also, were you in a parade?
I was not in a parade, but I did travel. I was in Texas, Dallas area, and I do really like the Dallas area. So wouldn't mind living in the Dallas area one day. So, but it was fun. It was work. It was nice. Good food.
Moving to Dallas is getting you further from the Lanai, FYI.
I know.
I know. It's right. The Lanai has.
But I'm getting really excited to go to Alabama Gulf Shores. So I'm just kind of counting down the days.
I mean, when's that going to happen, guys? For us?
Friday.
For my birthday? It's this
Yes,
Friday.
I'm going to Alabama Gulf Shores for your birthday.
For you.
I will definitely.
For you.
Okay. I will call you from there celebrating your birthday.
Okay, thanks.
Jessica's gonna call you from the beach and say, "Wish you were here."
Yeah.
FYI.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
For the record, I did invite her. I just want our listeners to know that.
Like 7 days ago.
Yeah. Hey, that's all. I invited some friends 7 days to go to Greece, and they just booked their flight and came.
Someday I will have that
luxury. All right. So today's a surprise.
So today,
tell me, what are we
talking about? Something very cool. So we're going to get right into it. First of all, I want to thank everybody for subscribing, listening to us, and following us. leadlikeagirllab.com is our website. We love the comments. We love all the suggestions, everything. This topic came to me because I've been in sales for 25 years. I've been a sales manager. I have trained salespeople. I have been a leader and a follower. And one of the things we've talked about so many times is green and growing, not ripe and rotten. So I feel like every single chance you can possibly get to go back to the basics or just remind yourself of some of the simple things that you can do to help not only grow your business, but grow your sales expertise, but also maybe just hone in on your relationship building, whatever it is. I mean, all those things can help you in your career. And I came across this thing there's a book by Grifford Thomas. It's called Inspirational Leadership Quotes. And it's really just it's a book of quotes. And I want to read you what his excerpt said from the beginning. He said, "I fell in love with quotes during a difficult time in my life. I can honestly say that they brought me comfort when I needed it most. It felt like fate when I came across an encouraging quote from Les Brown. No matter how hard it is or how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. Those words resonated with me deeply, reminding me that hope can still shine through adversity." Another powerful quote was Dr. Miles Monroe that really struck a chord. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, it's life without purpose. These insights sparked something special within me, guiding me toward a path of finding solace and inspirational quotes about leadership in life. So that kind of guided me towards this topic. And it was really coming up with some words that we can use in our everyday life that can not only help create more of that team atmosphere, but also just get that point across in a more concise manner. And Coraline and Jessica, you guys are way better than me at this. I feel like I say, so just...
I told you all you need is Toastmasters.
I know.
Quick Toastmasters plug here.
So I'm gonna start this by talking about, we're leaders, right? So as leaders, we have to navigate this landscape of life and leadership, and not only with our work life, but as parents, as leaders in our community, as leaders in our family. And there's some uncertainty that can happen there. And sometimes it gets a bit heavy, right? And so sometimes you feel a little bit of a shift. There's like the technology shift, there's like the culture shift, there's economic changes, there's what COVID, a few years ago. There's so many things that can happen in our lives that make us like have to shift and change and adapt. And sometimes people feel really overwhelmed by these things. And so I think it's really important that when someone seeks out inspiration or motivation, we should embrace that. So it might be something as simple as grabbing a book that has some quotes in it. It might be something as simple as reaching out to your friends or family and saying, hey, can you give me a pep talk? There are so many ways that we can, I guess, add to our little arsenal of motivation, or, just give me something to pep me up in the day. So I came up with, and this was from LinkedIn, actually, it was Leadership Now, I think was the name of the post that I saw, but they had 7 themes, and I want to go through each one of them. But before I get into that, we're going to do one of the first minute fast track somethings. All right. Think about the last time somebody said something small, but it stuck with you all day. Think about, why is it that a couple simple words can kind of change the way that you feel? So I want you guys to think about something that someone has said to you recently that might have felt like something small, but it changed the way your day transpired.
I might have mentioned this last week or the week before, but this is just the recent one that was on my brain. Just a friend that reached out and said, I thought about you. I just turned in my last assignment, getting my bachelor's, and I just thought about you because you encouraged me to do this and you kind of gave me the information I needed. And so and I even told him, I'm like, that like just totally made my day. And, it's those moments and that I was like, wow, that was 4 years ago. So I think it's just the little things when people appreciate the guidance and the help that you give long after you give it.
Yeah, at my work, we have a company-wide meeting once a month, once every other month, just depending on availability. But I usually am saying something or presenting something at the meeting or introducing something. So I somehow gravitate towards the MC role, which I like. But you never get any feedback whatsoever. It's just you go up, you introduce this, you talk about this topic, whatever. I had a dude come up to me just talking about how he had to do a dude come up to me, just totally random in our break room a few days ago, and he had to do some sort of presentation at some meeting he was in, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, how do you even do that? It was so stressful for me. And you just get up there and you just seem so natural and you just talk off the cuff and you just seem so relaxed. Like, how do you do that? So he was asking me a question and trying to figure out how he's going to do this thing for this networking piece that he was in, but also kind of giving me a backhanded compliment. And there, you got to read into it a little bit. But I walked away from that feeling pretty good because of just, again, dude at the office, just not trying to give me a compliment, but, just one of those like, okay, he realizes that it's not an easy task.
It's not easy. Oh my gosh, it's not at all. There are 7 simple phrases that I have here that we're going to go over today, and we're going to do them a little bit quick because, 7 of them. But they're basically phrases that you can use intentionally, though. If you do nothing else but insert these words into your sentence or your ask or whatever, that can make a difference. And the first one talks about trust, and it is the simple phrase of, I've got your back. So when, like that, Corlin, when your colleague came to you and said, all right, I don't know how you do this, but I have to do this. A simple phrase of like, hey, I got your back. What do you need to know? What do you need from me? What would you like me to help you with? That is a super simple phrase that you can do. Can you guys think of a time when someone said that to you, or someone you felt like someone just had your back, and where they could, like, how that changed how you presented?
So I can remember, first thing that comes to mind is I had to give some difficult feedback on a leader. And in a corporate environment, that's risky business. And truth be told, it didn't end well for me, but I would do it again. And what I really meant a lot to me is that there were people who had my back. Because one of the things that you risk is you're speaking up, and it was way overdue. Someone should have spoke up a long time ago, but they feared, right, speaking up against this person. And I didn't know what that was going to look like for me, but the rest of the team had my back. Mm-hmm. So it didn't look like this was just my experience with this leader. It was everybody gave that feedback. The majority of people gave that feedback, that that's the experience that they had with this individual as well. And that meant a lot to me, because as risky as it was for me, it was just as risky for them to kind of give that same honest feedback for someone who had a little bit of power.
Yeah. Well, and when people feel safe like that, they're more willing to speak up, which is what leads to inclusion, right? So when they feel safe because you gave some feedback and they feel like they can give feedback, that's.
But it also happens going the opposite. I remember having that not happen, where an easy, hey, I've got your back would have went a long way. But I remember I was working for this organization a while back, and we had a little snafu happen. I don't need to go into all the details, but it was like we had messed up for the customer, and we needed to fix it. And the executive director was like harping on me and was like, you need to go and fix this. You need to go. This is like, makes us look super bad, and took the posture of like, hey, this is your deal and you need to go fix it. And I had to figure out what I was going to say, how I was going to handle it, make the appointment, walk in almost like feeling like I needed to grovel to this other person, where a simple, hey, let's figure this out together. We're a team. Yeah. I've got your back. Let's handle this together and smooth this out. You know, I think that those, like, it went one direction. It totally could have went another direction. But from that moment on, the lack of trust that I had in my manager was so prevalent. It dictated every interaction from that moment on, and I did not trust her.
Yeah. I could see that. Absolutely.
So really, you know, those insignificant parts where we have those interactions, your choice to lean into it or take a step back could really impact the outcome of your relationship moving forward. So it's really important.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I know the next we talked about, like, when you're willing to speak up, it leads a little bit more to inclusion. So like saying something like, that's a great idea, or how can I help? You know, those are things that you can say to your team that promote something like, we're doing this together. And it's also that aspect, and I want to dig into this a little bit with you guys, servant leadership. So flipping the leadership mindset from directive to supportive, removing roadblocks versus giving orders. So what are your thoughts on what's a time when a leader really showed up for you, and what does help actually look like in a busy work environment? So we're thinking about flipping the leadership mindset. We're not directing, we're supporting.
Yeah. Well, I'm a hands-on leader, just because I want to, you know, we think back in the days where you weren't doing much cold calling, whether that was you were doing sales presentations, or you had the door, or you were, you know, assigning people. I always made sure that I took the time to go in and just make cold calls. One, I'm a little crazy in the sense that I actually enjoyed it, but other than that,
me too.
Never. It was so funny because even in this recent trip, they were like, nobody wanted to role play. I was like, I love role playing. What is wrong with you guys? But anyway, and the reason I did that is because I never want to get so far away from the work. If the day comes that I am a VP, I will be the VP that's still out in the field, that's still rolling up their sleeves. And I never want to be that far away from the work that I really don't understand what someone's day to day looks like, feels like. I want to be able to experience it. I may not have time to do it very often, but I just always want to experience that. And I think that that goes a long way when you have a team, and it makes a difference. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, in my experience, I have shared this a lot. And part of my role is to line up service projects. And our president always shows up to help, like whether we're doing a food shelf or we're doing like packing toys, whatever the case may be. If it works for his schedule, he always tries to show up for our team-wide service because I think that it's important for him. But we were on a service trip, and this was maybe a year or two ago, and we were working on a house, so kind of like a Habitat for Humanity. And this house that we were working on, it had just rained, and so the whole yard was super muddy. And the task at hand is we needed to go under the house. It was a modular home, or like a trailer house that needed insulation on the bottom of the and so the crew leader needed two people to go under the house and do insulation. And mind you, underneath this is like cobwebs and spider webs, and it's muddy
I'm
and
out.
it smells funny, and it's like, I mean, all the things that are gross. And he's like, all right, who wants to do that? And the president of our company is like, I got it. Literally,
Oh my gosh.
first person to raise
I
their
thought you were going to say you did it. I was going to say Corlin. No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
No.
I will,
The
but
president of your
I
company
maybe
did
not
that,
the
though.
first.
I mean, talk about showing up. I mean, just
But it
showing
was
up.
just, it really set the tone of,
Yeah.
hey, like none of these things and none of these projects are above me on the mission field or on the service field. There's
Yeah.
no titles. Like, we all are the same person. So whoever's going to do it, whoever can fit under the house needs to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it really stood out as something that was remarkable for me and set the tone for everyone else.
Yeah. I love that.
Man, I love that too. You know, they always say, of course, with great support, mistakes also happen. So one of the other terms that we're going to talk about is resilience. So mistakes happen, but you can learn and move on. And I'm going to copy that into the next one, which is your work makes a difference. So, you know, we create a culture where failure isn't something that's feared. I mean, we want to create that culture, right? Where failure is going to happen. You shouldn't fear it. It should be something where we can learn to grow through that. We can learn to grow from our mistakes. And then also the aspect of your work makes a difference, the importance to connecting work to like just meaning, just your life's meaning. So another quick question for you guys, is there anything that you've done or seen where a mistake turned into a really good lesson?
So over the years, I don't have a story, but I think over the years, what I've learned, and I've formed this habit that whenever there's a mistake made, the first thing I ask before I ask, well, what happened, is the first thing I ask is, what did you learn? Like, what did we learn in this? And I've just found that first, people are kind of like, that's not what they expect. And it really just makes them stop and think about what they learned. And then it helps you not beat yourself up about what went wrong. Now we get there, but I've just found that the key to that thought, which I love, what did we learn? And to just talk about that first. And I think it sets the tone for the rest of the conversation. And when you do it, the rest of the conversation becomes constructive at that point, because you really get out, what did you learn? And it's good, because without that, you can't learn anything.
Yeah. Jamie, I think you maybe can relate to this. So in another life, I was selling high dollar industrial equipment, right? And so when you sell one thing, it's like a couple $100,000, but then you multiply it by many buildings or many locations and many revisions. You make one little mistake on one, well, it gets 10x pretty quickly. And so without going in all the raw details, I had sent out a quote for a giant package that had 10 items on it. Well, I had neglected to include one piece, and that one piece was like a $45,000 ad multiplied by, 8 or 10 units. That mistake that was left off the quote was huge. And that went out, and it's like one of those things when you're dealing with buildings and things like that, like it goes out, but the project doesn't land for sometimes months, sometimes years or so.
Yeah.
So it's something that I had
You
quoted
have
when
a little bit of time to correct yourself, but yes.
yeah, but it's like something that I quoted when I started. And so fast forward as you learn, I probably wouldn't have made that mistake, but it's like I have to lean on what I did 6 months or 8 months ago, right? Anyways, long story short, it was time the project was out for bid again. Things are getting serious. And I realized, like, oh my gosh, like everybody has the wrong number. And I am just panicking because I've never made this kind of mistake this big. And, at this company, I was just freaking out. Well, so I just decided I was just going to just let everyone know. I walked into my manager at the time, like, I just got to tell you the truth, and we just need to like figure this out. And I told him what I did, and I was just like waiting for him to like let me have it, like maybe get fired, because it was just it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars of a miss. And he looked at me and he was like, "Huh, well, that's unfortunate." And then proceeded to tell me about a story about how another sales guy made a mistake that was 3 times as bad, bigger numbers, more important, whatever. So it was just a really great. And then we figured it out. He's like, "All right, let's not do that again. Let's like, what did you learn from this? And let's make sure that this doesn't happen." But I feel like in those moments, as a manager and as a leader, you have the opportunity to like completely berate somebody, make them understand with like pain and like shame, or we can just grab the problem, figure it out, move on, and give your teammates grace and dignity and a learning experience. And then you think of like, of those two experiences, who's going to want to stick around at the table after the dust settles and want to stick, out?
And I can, yes. And I can relate to the same scenario, being in a situation with a company that I'm no longer with, where something happened with, nothing I could do about it, out of my control, but I ended up paying back, I don't know, 20 or 30, probably 20 or $30,000 worth of commission back to my company because of something I had no control over.
So it wasn't a mistake that you made.
I didn't make a mistake.
Let me make that clear. I did not make a mistake.
I did not make a mistake. However,
someone did.
It was brought out of my commission. And then the company, which I'm no longer with, the company I'm currently with, though, I've done the same thing, Corlin, where there was something that came up and I was really new and I didn't even actually do the scope. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't even really know what it was because I was so new. And there was something that happened and we had to eat some costs. And this management team came to me and said, "Look, yeah, we're gonna eat these costs because we see that, we could have done something differently. Not you, we." And that's such a different conversation,
Yeah. That's we got your back.
We got your back. It truly is. So I love that. Thank you guys for those stories. So moving on a little bit, so that mistakes happen, we gotta keep going. Your work does make a difference. The next couple topics, which we kind of did this already, but the next one was collaboration. Let's figure this out together. Right? Yeah. I mean, that is a phrase that as a team leader or a manager, could you imagine being in such a nervous position where maybe you don't, you screwed up, and to hear your manager say to you, "Let's figure this out together." My gosh, that would be the difference between like staying or leaving, truly, in some cases. Yeah. And the last one truly is empathy. Like, take care of yourself. Human first leadership supporting well-being supporting well-being without overstepping. So we're not trying to get all up in your business, but we are, as a leader, saying, I want you to take care of yourself. When you tell me that you're supposed to be on vacation on Tuesday and you all of a sudden say, oh, no, I can be in the meeting. You can take a vacation day. It's fine. Like things like that. I think we're trying to portray to our team, hey, I want you to take care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? So last question before we wrap up. Give me 2 things that you think a leader can do to check in with their team in a meaningful way when it comes to taking care of yourself.
So the first thing I would say is to be curious. I literally just had this happen. There's a young lady on my team, and I just picked up on a few things that I'm like, so, I'm curious. You had mentioned this or that, like, is everything okay? And I know that you mentioned, and, I'm careful to say, and please feel free to share as much or as little as you're comfortable sharing. And when she shared it all, I'm like, listen, and she's pretty young. And I shared with her, I've lived 2 lives before this one. And that thought, and I appreciate that you're ambitious and you want to be successful and you got a sales quota that you're chasing and all that good stuff. But if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be around healthy to be able to make next month's quota or the quota after that. And so I just had that conversation, made it clear to her that she was more important than any goal that we had, her health and her well-being. And I would have never said such things 25 years ago. Like, just would have never come out of my mouth. But I know that that people first is the leader that I've grown and developed into, and I have to stay true to that. So I am always being curious is the first thing, and then leading with empathy, like you said, and just, everyone has a story, everyone has a life, and I encourage people to live your life for you and your family first. That doesn't mean you can't work hard and do this job, but more importantly than this job is your family. And that is who your loyalty should be: yourself, your family, your well-being.
Mm-hmm. In that order. Well, throw God in there too, but
Not yourself, your family. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Great. You know what? As you were talking, I feel like the way that I've shown or have been shown empathy is when somebody can tell you're in the weeds, whatever that be, and they're like, "What can I take off your plate? What can I help you with?" And not like,
Yes.
"Can I help you?" Because that forces me to say yes or no.
Right.
It's more like, I'm showing up to help you. Just tell me how I can help. And there's times where I've been at events where somebody will say that, and it's whoever it is, and I'm like, yeah, can you staple these for me? Like something like mundane, or hey, can you go get the copies I just printed off the printer? That one time I used the printer again. But like some of those things, like sometimes like you're so wrapped up in the thing, like even just delegating some mundane task, or just asking, like having somebody show up and say, hey, what do you need? And then tell them what you need. Don't be ashamed or be too caught up in all the things that you need to own to not delegate something, even if it's just a temporary delegation, just to get through the next 15-20 minutes, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. And you know what? I have been so fortunate. I'm so blessed that I swear every position that I've been in the last however many years, almost 10 years that I've been out of the direct buy world, God has always sent me that one person. that one person always that has my back.
Wait, is it me?
No, I'm saying at work.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
In my work environment. And I'm so grateful for that. Like I have someone now, this guy is like, he checks in, he helps. He's like, are you okay? Like always. And every single role position that I've had over the last 9 years, there's been, I think I'm on 7 now. There's always been that one. And I'm so grateful for now. And you know, what's funny. I don't know what the connection is of this, but we're going to have to do better. They've all been middle-aged white men. Shout out to middle-aged white men because y'all don't have my back always.
You were kind of deciding whether or not you're going to say that or not. It seemed like they've...
No. I just wanted... No.
Dot.
I was saying it... No. I wanted to say it with anticipation of what you guys are doing, the perfect faces. Like, what?
I was like, wait, what?
Who is it?
I'm sorry. It has not been other women of color. It has not been other women. It has not been, you know, my close ratio with Black men is like 95%. But when it comes to a corporate environment, they don't have my back like these other guys do. And I'm grateful for it. And all you need is that one person that you know has your back. And shout out to Larry. Larry got my back now.
Good.
Love you, Larry.
Not that he would be listening.
Well, we're gonna recap the themes for tonight. I'm gonna shout out the theme and the question. I want you to remember these. If you are a woman who needs to write this down, write it down. Or if you want to share it, you should share it. But I think that all these things can help us all be better leaders, friends, coworkers, mothers, everything. So the first one is trust. So the question or the statement, I've got your back. The next one is inclusion. That's a great idea. Next, servant leadership. How can I help? Resilience. Mistakes happen. Learn and move on. Purpose. Your work made a difference. Collaboration. Let's figure it out together. Empathy. Take care of yourself. Just remember those topics. Remember those items. Remember those statements. Write them down. Maybe put them on your whiteboard, Jessica.
Yeah. Or I'm getting a blackboard, by the way.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Good. Takeaways for tonight before we go? Any more takeaways?
No, I love the topic. I think, have someone's back is my takeaway, and just grateful for people that have my back. So
good. Same.
Mm-hmm. You know, having phrases that you are your go-to phrases are a good thing. So if any of these resonate with you or the stories, I think that just taking one or two of them and just taking a moment to memorize them and take it for a test drive. But I think I don't think that you'll be sad when you have when you can use these in normal conversation, because any of these, they add grace, they add empathy, they add support. They're great ways to change the dynamic of a conversation that could go a different direction.
Yeah. And making these phrases and these words and phrases just part of your normal vocabulary, I think can help get your point across, and then also include others. I really think it can help in so many ways. So that I would say that's my takeaway as well. So thank you guys so much for this.
Thank you, Jamie. This was good. Good conversation.
Good. Follow us on Lead Like a Girl Lab on all the social medias. Good night.
All of them.